Good evening, everybody. Hi, I'm Mayor Bianca Motley Broom. Happy to welcome everyone to this town hall tonight. We've got a full agenda with Q&A, and we've got some folks who are ready to answer your questions and help you learn more about our city, keep you engaged, keep you informed, because that's why we're all here. We're here to serve you. So my colleague, Mayor Pro Tem Mackenzie, is here. And you're going to be hearing from our police chief, our city manager, and also our head of customer service, who didn't want to come up front, but we're going to hear from him later. But first off, we're going to be doing a little bit of interactive participation later on, because I want to know what you think, and it's an easier way to capture information. And so we're going to start out. Kelly, are we going to do that? So why'd the chicken cross the road? No, I'm just kidding. We'll get the technology together. I think we just want to test it out to make sure. So bring out your phones. Oh, you don't have to turn off your phones in here. Yep. Just go ahead and scan that QR code. This is just a test question. What are you most looking forward to this summer? Good hikes, sleep, flowers. Oh. Spending time with family, travel, fun, vegetables. Let me know where to get tomatoes. Let me know where to come and get your tomatoes. Okay. Good food, good hikes, forward motion. I like that. Zucchini. I will take some extra. I do a pretty good zucchini bread, but I don't want all the zucchini. And if you figured out a way not to have those little orange bugs on there, because they really got me the last time I tried to grow zucchini. I think they're not ladybugs. Yeah, they're lady beetles. Yeah, they really have turned me off from growing zucchini. But, okay, so it looks like it works. We're going to be talking about some other more substantive questions a little bit later on, but thank you for participating. I want to take the time right now to go a little off script, but we have a special guest here this evening. We have Trey Riddle from Congresswoman Nikema Williams' office, and we want to take an opportunity. He is the district chief of staff, and he has come all the way for this town hall this evening and wanted to bring greetings on behalf of the Congresswoman, and also want to make sure that you know him, because, heck, members of Congress can get some stuff done. And we want, yes, members of Congress can get stuff done. And Congresswoman Williams has been an amazing champion for our city, for our region, and for the entire district. So please welcome Mr. Riddle.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. On behalf of Congresswoman Nikema Williams, I'd like to just say hello. Madam Mayor, Madam Mayor Pro Tem, let me make sure I get your title right. Is it chief or assistant chief? Chief. Let me make sure I get that right. It's the mayor said that members of Congress can get things done. I would say members of Congress get things done when they are listening to their constituents, the people of College Park, the people throughout the fighting 5th Congressional District. Right now, we are in what I would say is a very interesting time in Washington. I've had the opportunity, the privilege and pleasure to work for several members of Congress back in D.C., and I'm here now. I would encourage you to be engaged. It will be your voices. It will be your ideas. It will be your energy and effort that determines whether or not there's funding for roads and bridges, whether or not there's funding for public safety, whether or not there's funding for schools, whether or not there's funding for colleges and universities and and job training. It is incumbent that you have your Congress, your community, and your voices. That's critically important. I'll be around here for a little bit, would be happy to have a conversation with you. I deeply appreciate the opportunity, Madam Mayor, to say a few words. Don't beat me up too bad afterwards if you have any questions, but I'd love to sit and have a conversation with you and then stay in touch, okay? Thank you for the opportunity. It's an awesome, awesome thing to be here in College Park tonight. Appreciate you.
And Mr. Riddle's got plenty of cards, just in case you need assistance from Congresswoman Williams' office. They are really a really outstanding team, and just so grateful. And I see someone else in the back who may want to bring greetings on behalf of a commissioner. Yeah, you can't hide. You're really tall. It's Mr. Richard Case on behalf of Commissioner Marvin Arrington. And let's welcome Mr. Case. And I will say that, yet again, another advocate for our community, and just very fortunate that we have the commissioner in our corner. But thank you so much for being here, and the mic is yours.
Well, thank you, Mayor Motley Broom, for that wonderful yet surprising introduction, as I had no idea I'd be speaking this evening. Good evening, College Park residents. Yes, I bring you greetings on behalf of Commissioner Marvin Arrington, who is, of course, the Commissioner for Fulton County's District 5, and College Park is so ably represented by him in that district. So just happy to be here tonight to hear all of the goodies and treats that the mayor is going to talk about here during this town hall, and also to share with you a couple of things. One, there is a town hall series that's going to be taking place upcoming in July, and the closest location is going to be at the Camp Truett Center here in College Park off of Herschel Road. So please be on the lookout for information concerning the town hall, and I think I have some information with me that, if the mayor doesn't mind, I can leave out in the vestibule area so that you can collect that information. Also, by show of hands, who has a graduate senior who's a rising freshman, or someone that's in college right now? Okay, just a couple of folks here. Well, that's good. So the reason why I asked is there's an essay contest that Commissioner Arrington sponsors every single year for students who have graduated high school and are rising freshmen at a college or university, or those who are already in college up to rising seniors in college, where they can participate to possibly win money towards books, which, of course, very, very expensive commodities in college, that money will be helpful towards that. So I'll have some information out in the vestibule for that if you'd like to pick that up. Okay? So thank you, Mayor Motley Broom. As always, your kindness and your courtesy is very much appreciated. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. We are really fortunate to be represented by such stalwart advocates for us on every level, and the fact that everyone keeps on showing up is really to our benefit. So please, if you have issues, if you've got a Social Security issue, if you've got a passport issue, this gentleman right here in the front can assist you with that. If you've got issues on the county level, if you have questions about how, the senior facilities, things like that, Commissioner Arrington and his office can assist with those issues. And so we want to make sure that we use the elected officials that we've got to do the work that we need them to do, right? Including me. Use me as you see fit. But I want to take the opportunity now. We have had someone join our team, currently serving as our city manager for about 2.5 weeks now. Is that right? And she keeps on showing up every day. And we are excited about it. And we are grateful for your service. And Ms. Miller's not going to take questions. She's not going to do a Q&A for the whole group, but she will be here afterwards and is happy to talk with folks. The Q&A, the live Q&A, it's my town hall, so I will take the Q's and the A's. But I did want her to come to talk a little bit about the vision that she has for our city. It's exciting. It's exciting. I have, in the last couple of weeks, been very encouraged about our open dialogue, and I think that you are going to see in her what I see in her, as someone who is committed to moving this city forward and maintaining or even improving your services, because we work for you. We are the ones who are trying to get the job done for you. And so I know that she shares that philosophy, and so without further ado, I would like to introduce you to our city manager, Lindell Miller.
Good evening. Good evening. I first want to thank Mayor Motley Broom for this opportunity. I typically stand in the back and make sure everyone's being served. I also want to thank Council Mayor Pro Tem. I've been in government for 20 plus years. I have started from the bottom. I did jobs that no one wanted to do. I have an MBA. I worked for the Inspector General's office. I was actually approached by the Inspector General. So I have a passion for government. A little bit about me. I was born and raised in Nassau, Bahamas, and my father is still there. So I'm an island girl, but I grew up in humble beginnings, and my father is self-made. My grandmother had 16 children. We were rich, but we didn't know it. We had 50 acres, and I didn't know it because I had to work it, you know. So I thought it was just labor. And I didn't get the lesson then, but I get it now. And I was taught by a strong grandmother and a very strong grandfather how to make something out of nothing and how to respect people and help people, no matter who you are. My father sent me to Florida. I obtained an MBA, graduated at the top of my class, started my own business at 18, became very successful, sold my business, got married to an attorney, the love of my life, had a son. My husband passed about 3 years ago, and so now I'm reinventing myself. But what I've learned in the journey of public service is that it's truly that. It's not a career, it's a job of service. And you have to truly, truly care about the things you do every day and the decisions you make every day. As a city manager, you're making decisions extremely fast. And when you're stepping into a situation where you're bringing change and structure and service and compassion, it's something that you sit with every day before you go into the office. And you want to make sure that the decisions you make are not decisions that's being made by a knee-jerk reaction. Because your decisions tend to evolve, and they can become better or not so great. So I wanted to share that. I wanted you to know that the person that's sitting in the office now, I don't care about later, but right now, is a person that makes decisions with faces, not numbers, not what's the quickest way to get something done. But it's making a decision that will affect someone's life that's considered every day. So I'm on the streets on Fridays. Everyone know on my team that I'm not in the office. I'm out there with the landscaping. I'm out there with Public Works, because it's time to see it, get it done, understand why it's not getting done, and come to the table and make some decisions. My office is, I'm always, okay. Yeah. And I'm excited because I have a son that's going off to college, so I can kind of do me now. But truly, we're not naive. We know where we are. We know where we are. And my team knows in our meetings. They bring me a problem. They bring me a solution. We talk it through. And I have meetings every hour of the day to resolve matters. My email is listed. My phone number is there. You can call me. If there's an issue with dumping, picking up, landscaping, flooding, anything, you call me. I don't have a problem leaving my office and putting on Timberlands and going in the streets. I do not have a problem. I did it all day Friday. I don't have a problem with picking up trash. I don't have a problem with stopping and putting in a C-click fix and telling the guys, come out and cut this grass. Today the light wasn't working, come out and check the light. If I see it, I get it done. I'm here to serve. That's what a city manager does. And that's all I had. Thank you.
It's exciting. We're excited about you. And thank you so much for coming. Appreciate it. And like I said, she's going to be around, right? Yeah, okay, all right. You're walking that way. But she'll be around later to interact with everyone and answer any specific questions you might have. But I did want Ms. Miller to have the opportunity to engage with the entire group because we are here to serve the entire city. So, but without further ado, I want to bring up the woman who runs our public safety heroes. Yeah. She's going to talk a little bit about what's going on in the police department, trends, and I'm sure we're going to hear the words National Night and Out in succession, right? Yep, because it's coming up. Always an exciting time. But our Chief, Connie Rogers. Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mayor. Most of you I know, I've had the privilege, almost 3 years, College Park, that I've had the honor and privilege of being your police chief. Mayor Pro Tem, I could not be here without your continued support, so thank you. Public safety. Well, I can stand here and, brag a little bit. brag a little bit. In the 3 years that I've been here, we have seen a double-digit decrease in crime, and in the 6 months going into 2025, I can stand here and tell you College Park has a 20% decrease in crime of where we were last year. One of my biggest initiatives when I accepted the role as police chief back here in 2022 was to change the stigma of what people hear and see when they think of College Park. My goal, my continued goal every day is when people say College Park, I want people to say College Park and think of College Park like they think of the Alpharettas, like they think of the Dunwoodies here in Atlanta, and we're getting there. By my vision, but through the efforts of the men and women of the College Park Police Department that I couldn't do it. The mayor mentioned one of our biggest events, I think everybody here has been to it, is our National Night Out, which is the first Tuesday in August. If you haven't been, you have missed a treat. This year will be bigger and better than it has been in previous years. We have a few other things up our sleeve, so you're gonna see some new attractions this year. I'm actually working on a Dunkin' booth to see if I can get some of our governing body to participate, in. So from the police department, we're always excited about that. The summer breaks, people go on vacation. One of the things I always say when I'm at have the privilege of speaking at these events, we have to get back to when we know our neighbors. People go on vacations during the summer, the kids are out. So if you're gonna be out, let your neighbor know, hey, I'm out of town over the next week, so they'll be aware. If they see any strange vehicles circling in your driveway, noticing lights on, well, Miss Mary's out of town, shouldn't be any lights on in the house. That's a clue. Call the police, have us come out and check it out. But we don't know that if we don't talk to our neighbors. So I want everybody just, wherever you live within the city of College Park, just make a pledge to get to know one person on your street that you don't know this evening. And Mayor, that's all that I have. I thank you so much for your time. Sure. Questions? Yes, Mr. James.
Hey, Chief. First of all, thank you for all that you've done. I had a couple of concerns, be it's the summertime, and
Yes.
I'm right by the park, and there's been increased activity at the park that has not been commensurate to our vision for the city. I'm just gonna say it like that.
Okay.
I made a couple calls. Oh, stand up. I made a couple calls, and the guys came out quickly, but I want to know, one, are there going to be more regular patrols around the park? Because I don't see a lot of patrols. I have to make phone calls to get a police officer out there, which is fine. But I think we have a more of a deterrent effect if we have a regular patrol. And secondly, those cameras that have been there since I moved, I don't know if they're operable now, but they have not been in the last 6-7 years. And we've got to get those cameras operable because a lot of activity goes on in that park that you all don't see. I see. And we need to make sure that if something happens, we have it on camera, on video, so we can help prosecute and find those people that are doing this.
Yes, sir. Let me take your first question. The parks, we know in the summer, because of a lot of the kids are out, and our parks are great and everybody wants to visit. So we do have an initiative in place that you will see more patrols during the summer months. We having officers come in on their off duty to just mandate, only thing they're doing is patrolling the parks. So you will see an increase there. Your second question is the cameras. I know IT, I don't see IT here. They did buy cameras for the city. I will touch base with Michael Hicks tomorrow and see about the camera that's at Brady, because you and I have had conversations in the past. If the cameras work, some of the things that you have called about, we would have been able to address. So he and I will have a conversation about that in the morning. No problem. Yes, ma'am.
Speaking of cameras, my neighbor asked me to ask this question as well. There was a sign on Herschel Road that says you are being videotaped right after it tells you that you're entering the city. We have a huge traffic problem, as you well know, on Herschel Road. But are there cameras on Herschel Road, and are they being videotaped? And
No,
why was the
ma'am.
sign-
That's a deterrence of public safety to let people, but there's no camera that's saying you're being detected. But we do have, I know I'm getting a flock camera. Once it's installed, will be installed right there at Hawthorne Station. And we're looking at putting another one on the other end near Phillips Park to catch some of the speeders going up and down because we'll be able to identify tags.
What about Washington and Herschel? Because we are a huge pass-through from Camp Creek going to East Point. I am awakened every night of people flying over that speed bump.
Okay.
And I go to bed at night hearing people flying over the speed bump. The speed bumps are not deterring people from speeding. They are just...
Washington and Herschel, I put it on the list for us to
Please
look at in getting something done over there for you. Yes, ma'am. Right here.
Congratulations on getting our crime down 20% going into 2025. Can you talk about how you achieved that and what your goal is going forward to even bring crime down even more?
Just listening to the residents. We have one of the best, if not the best, crime analysts here in the state of Georgia, Ms. Dawn Chappelle. Only thing her job is to do is when incidents happen, she pinpoints them on a map. And every Monday, we get a ComStat report. Every supervisor reviews the reports. We have a command staff meeting about what we've seen the previous week, and we'll try to adjust personnel in those areas to combat some of that. And it's work with the continued support of the Mayor Pro Tem, the technology, some of the things that we've gotten in the city, the flock cameras, getting our cameras online, just doing trying to be proactive instead of reactive. The community officers are the best community officers here. Everybody, Officer Porch received an award, and I said it then and I say it now. College Park is about 14,000 residents. About 12,000 residents live here, know her. And that's the reason why crime has decreased the way it does. Because when you build relationships with your police department, when something happens, instead of calling 911 is always great, but having a relationship like me and Mr. Walker had, he called, we talk about it, because when I get calls, things get addressed. And we try to, just hard work, and we'll continue. We're not done yet. I want to get it even further down by the end of December. And hiring more officers has definitely helped. We have 8 openings now. I have charged background and recruitment. By December, I want those 8 position filled. And then we're starting to move over into retaining the officers. And I'm proud to say we don't have since I've been back, and I can give that for myself. When you treat people as people instead of a number, I've always said people don't leave because of money, because every police department around here gets a little bit bump, making $2,000-3,000. People leave because of bad management. And the command staff that I have now, they care about every person in this police department, and it shows. And that's the reason why crime has decreased in College Park.
Hey, Chief.
Hi, Mr. Godfrey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm always talking about the same subject, so forgive me. But the gunfire, it continues, especially around that Vesta and College area. Is there anything that we can do to figure out where that's coming from? And
me and Chief Buchanan have had more conversation, the East Point Police Chief, about that. That's something we're constantly working on. I don't have an answer for you right now, but that's something we're constantly, he and I both talk about that. He and I talk once a week. And we're always talking about that Vesta Washington Road border because of the activities there.
is there, I think we've talked about technology that could be deployed to help triangulate faster. What's the status on that?
We do have we do have like a shot finder, and it detects if gunshots go off. But the vendor we have, it doesn't give an exact, it doesn't give an alert. And we're looking at other technology that's a little bit better than what we have now, and that's just being honest with you. Yes, ma'am.
Just a brief question. I'm concerned about sometimes the homelessness or the mental illness that I see sometimes walking up and down the street. How would you like us to contact you? I don't know if I've overlooked that information or.
No, ma'am, you can call 911 and just let somebody know that, you know, you have somebody over here.
I did. No disrespect, I did. And I work out sometimes at the tennis court and I walk in the community. And the lady was very nice. They answered the phone, but I waited patiently. Nobody came. And there was literally a lady in the rain looking completely lost. And nobody came for her assistance. So I just need to know, where else can I reach out? And
Here's my cell number. Call me.
okay. And I know her as well.
And this is for everybody. I tell people sometimes with the delay and not making an excuse, but when 911 call comes in, they come in by priority. And if there was a little bit of a major incident that was occurring during the time you call, your call was gonna be delayed. Okay, she didn't dispatch her call. Take my number down. Take my number now, please. Nothing against Officer Porch, but I'm the chief. Take my number down. 470-423-5133. See, Porch be on vacation. She don't answer her phone. I answer my phone 24/7. Yeah, all right. Yes, sir. Microphone, right here, Porch. No, like that's just.
I just learned recently there's another number that you can call that goes directly into the police department, 404-766-3618. Left my glasses at home. But that's another number I was told.
Yes,
we
that's
could
the
call
non-emergency number.
that you can go and
Yeah.
call directly.
But
Okay.
call me. I can get stuff done a little bit faster than calling the non-emergency number. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you so much, Chief. Appreciate you and your entire team. And she alluded to Officer Porch getting an award, but for those of you who didn't know, the Airport Rotary Club, of which Mr. Randy Godfrey is treasurer, is that right? That's right, yes, gave Public Servants of the Year to area cities, and our Police Officer of the Year was Officer Porch. And so, and Chief is right, 12,000 out of 14,000 know her. And we all know the dedication that you bring every single day to this job, and that you will tell all of us about ourselves in the most loving way. When we do right, you're going to tell us. When we do wrong, you're going to tell us. Thank you, Officer Porch, for keeping us all honest. We appreciate you. So, those of you who have lived in the city long enough recognize that our bills for electricity tend to rise higher in the summer, and we tend to get a lot of feedback about, why are the bills so high? What's going on? So I wanted to take the opportunity to bring up Mr. William Scott, who runs our customer service division. If you have any questions about your bill in particular, please wait to ask those particular questions of Mr. Scott, because he'll be around this evening. But he's just going to give us a brief overview of what to expect when you're reading your bill, better understanding about the bills in general, and a little bit more about his department and the great folks who serve our community. So, Mr. Scott, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Hello. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Tell you a little bit about customer service. We do bill all of the utility services we have, which includes electricity, water, sewer, stormwater, and trash. And as the mayor alluded to, we do have peak seasons. We're getting ready to get into the peak season for the summer. But I don't know, the rain has kind of mitigated some of that, but we'll see in the next couple of months. And then during the winter, we have a peak season as well. And you will see higher bills. We are really trying to get into analytics. The chief, she spoke of an analyst helping them with crime. We just hired a young lady from American Express. We're so proud. She's on our team. It's almost a month. So we're trying to get more into analytics. We have a big problem in the city of College Park because it's an old city with water leaks. And that can really become a big problem for our citizens. So we're taking, we have tools where we can monitor that usage on every 6 hours. And the analyst is going to help us with that so that we can be a little preemptive with that, calling you, can you look downstairs, see if the toilet's running, things of that sort. And we've had situations in the past where customers have called us back and said thank you, because it can become costly. We are getting ready to change a lot of our business processes. Right now, to do a lot of things for College Park, you have to come down to City Hall. We're trying to improve that, where you can stay right there in your bed or at the desk, or if you're over in London, because we have a very dynamic customer base, which we recognize. We have people that's calling us from London, Europe, and they work all over the world, and we acknowledge that, and we're trying to change our business processes to accommodate the sophistication that College Park has with their customer base. We have a dedicated staff of about close to about 20 people. That's meter readers. We have billing analysts. We have a call center. We have cashiers, and we have a customer service supervisor, a billing and collection manager, and myself, which is utility operations manager, but I'm working on asking them to put in business in that, because I handle a lot of the business part of the utility operations and special projects and things of that sort. A lot of technology goes into what we do, and we're not perfect, but we work hard. If you let us know individually, we may not get it, but when we come together as a team, we pretty much can hit home runs every chance we get. I'll take time now, if you don't mind, to answer some questions, because I know you all have a lot of them. If I can't give you the detail, because I do work at a very high level of what we do, I can take the question and I can get the answer back. And the chief, she gave out her cell phone number. I don't have that much courage, but I would like to give you this email: customerservice@collegeparkga.com. When you send an email to that email, it's like a beehive. I mean, we come to it, and whoever is the subject matter expert, they're chomping on. I'm sorry, I apologize. They're chomping on that and getting that resolution to that question. So again, it's customerservice@collegeparkga.com. That's a team effort, that email, anything that comes through. I'll go ahead and start the questions.
There we go. I love that you're getting more efficient digitally. That's great to hear. I work from home, and so one of the things that the IRS prefers that I do instead of charging myself rent is to divide a portion of my utilities. And so that $5.95 convenience fee to just pay my bill ends up becoming $12. And that's just, it's too much. So I have the convenience and privilege to be able to just drive down and hand over 2 checks. But that would be really awesome if we could find a better convenience fee. I've heard a lot of negative about that. It just feels a lot. Secondly, the donations for electric utility and then people who need help. Can you bring some clarity around that? Because I've had some friends who've needed help and they've not been able to find any, nor have they been able to get answers from customer service.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. To answer the first question, there is a convenience fee. If you use any convenience of paying online, there's a fee. It's $4.25. And it was at one point $5, and I think $5.25, it went down to $4.95. But because of the efficiency that we've been doing a lot of things, sending out bill notifications, the business has picked up so much the vendor offered a reduction for the citizens. So we have it down to $4.25. We have a new finance director. When he came in, that was one of the first things that he looked at. Our power director, Hugh Richardson, he's been looking at that, and it's on the table, and we do hear that concern. But at this point, it's going to be it's several factors that you have to look at before we can just eradicate that fee. But we do hear it, and it's being addressed and it's being discussed. The second question, let's power up our neighbors. First of all, I want to say thank you to the citizens of College Park. We've given away you all have given away over $14,000 towards the citizens of College Park. And that's from your donation. That's nothing that we have done. Those are donations on your part and the employees, because the employees have taken some liberty doing different events to contribute to say thank you for giving us jobs. So when we receive the money, we do give it out. It's not a stringent process, but it's also not a very, we try to limit it right now because this is not a federally funded program. This is not a state-run program. This is neighbors like yourself basically giving to other neighbors saying, here. So right now, we per person, we don't give no more than around $300 per person. We do ask for a lot of, not a lot of information, but a process. I think it's a 5-page application that we have a grants coordinator on site that helps to facilitate that, so that if someone were to come and look and ask, we have all the documentations, everything is in order. But go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Scott, Grace, I just wanted to let everybody know that this gentleman is the real deal. I have walked people in his office who needed help, and he personally gave me and them his phone number, made sure that their gas and lights were kept on, and worked with them on 2 separate occasions. I've never seen that, and he called me to follow up. So I want to thank you publicly for doing that.
Thank you. Thank you.
And these people have called me and have sung your praises. Secondly, he's also helped me with a water leak. So when you all have that water spike, he went back. He took time with me. He analyzed my entire bill. I got a plumber out to fix it. Talk about that, but it was an outside leak, and I gave him the bill, and they credited me all the past due amounts. So this man is really doing his job, and city manager, yeah, you have a good one right there. All right. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you so much. And I take that, and I take it graciously, but I do understand sometimes the answers are not cookie cut, for everyone. We have 14,000 customers. Sometimes you can have a very similar problem, but it's a different solution for the problem that you may have. We have an open door policy. You can walk right into City Hall. If I'm in the office right there, we can have a meeting. And sometimes we just have to sit down, we have to talk through it, find out all of the details. But we are trying to help. We are trying to find a solution. And sometimes, because of the situation, it may not be to the resolve that everyone wants, but the effort is there, and we are trying. We have a dedicated team. Yes, ma'am.
Just transparency wise, that 14,000 is a great number. I haven't seen that. I haven't heard that anywhere. So maybe even like communicating that on the page, you know, where you can go and find the information, and maybe there's even the invitation on the page. If this is difficult, please come down. So that would be great.
Great information. We also, we've partnered with several programs within the Fulton County. We have a LAHI program, which is, I mean, just totally amazing, and it's changing the lives of a lot of individuals. And the management of College Park, Mayor and Council, they have given us a person, a grants coordinator, where the person can come in, she literally walks them through that complicated process to facilitate moving that through. And I agree with you, we probably need to be more transparent to let everybody know, for the people that need it, they know about it because they're coming in, but to let others know that there is a concerted effort, not just to collect bills and collect the money, but also assist those that are in great need, especially during these hot months and the cold months. We know about that, and we are very conscious of that. Yes. Ooh. Low. It's low income. Yes, the LAHI program. She was asking to explain the name, the Low Income Heating Energy Assistant Program. And it's a very robust program. It's of the utility assistance that we see come through, besides maybe the VA, Hope Atlanta. This is one of the most robust programs that's out there, and they're very generous, starting with seniors, single moms, just going down the line. And I've seen as much as $500. I've seen close to, with Hope Atlanta, I've seen $1,000, $2,000 to help those individuals, veterans and things of that sort. So there are programs out there, and like they were, the community thing, if you all know of any kind of program, you all know of any kind of assistance that's out there that maybe we're not, you don't see us, engaging in, let us know so we can get the number, engage with those people and have that for our citizens. Yes, ma'am.
My question is about the senior citizen electric discount. The $10 base charge dropped for my bill, but I can't identify the 10% discount. It's not a lot. So how do I identify that I'm getting the 10%?
It's the senior rate for seniors. It's a $10 discounted, but it's a $10 discounted rate. So you have, if you have the senior discount, you have a different rate than the other citizens of College Park. And it's not itemized in there, but if you were to come by and I could show you that on your account that there's a senior discount rate under your account.
So I have to be aware of what the regular rate is, right? Oh, so I have to be aware of the regular rate. There's no way for me to look at my bill and see the 10% discount. I can see the $10.
No,
base.
but I can show you the regular, okay.
I'm going to trust you.
Okay, yes.
Hi, thank you so much. I'm Sherry
Yes.
Godfrey.
Yes, ma'am.
This is just a question, curiosity. The transactions that are processed for residents' utility bills, is that in a separate account from the other operations of the city? So that it's easy for the city to recognize, you paid your bill or you haven't paid your bill, or tracking for payments, that sort of thing?
I'm trying to understand exactly what you're asking.
So some folks have had issues with their payments being reconciled, that they have paid the bill, and then in sorting it out, their power is disconnected or they're not credited for having paid their bill. So are the processing for payments, is there an account specifically for that? Like, what's in place to easily discern, hey, these accounts, this customer number 543 has paid and customer number 267 hasn't?
Yes, ma'am. Definitely the account number is the control number that helps us to know where the money should be allocated. When a customer comes to the window, everybody gets a paper receipt, and you have that receipt. It tells you where your money went and where it goes. When you pay online, we do have what we call an API connection with our vendor. That means they're directly connected into our system. So when you as a customer you go on to the portal and you put in your account number, you control basically where that money goes. Yes, we have a 10-digit account number, and sometimes that does cause confusion. If you're occupant number 10 and you put in occupant number 9, that money will go to another account. But if it's brought to our attention, we'll do the research, and then we can easily move that money. So there are times where money is not put in the correct place, but we don't control, when the customer goes online, they control where that money goes by putting in the account number. But there's a 2-digit occupant code at the end, and sometimes, especially new customers, which we try to explain it, but if they don't come from a place where they have that as a situation, if they don't put in the right occupant code, that money will go to the wrong place.
Okay, so you're saying the money may go to the wrong bank account to be
No, wrong.
processed
It will
for?
go to the wrong customer. And all it has to do is be brought to our attention. We can do the research. We can find out exactly who paid with what credit card, verify that, and then put the money in the correct place.
Because this actually happened to me. So basically, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Scott, because you know way more about this than I do. But essentially, if it's 10 numbers, those first 8 are the same, and then it's the same for the same address. But when you move in, you might be the 4th person to have an account at that address. And so those last 2 digits, like if you're 04, there have been instances where I've had the situation where it was applied to 03. And it was like, oh, I paid my bill, but it got applied to a previous resident's account.
And so all of those payments that are collected, are they processed through the same bank account? Like, is there a bank account associated with utility payments for College Park? That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, thanks for being here.
Yes.
It's obviously this is a unique situation where we've got multiple companies, if you will, under the same umbrella.
Say that one more time.
We have the same companies under the same umbrella, right? You got utilities and you got government operations. I was curious about how our information is protected between the two, right? So you've got a ton of information about usage and personal information. Is that information protected from government operations?
We, anytime a customer calls in to inquire about an account, we have to ask them a series of questions. They have to be able to verify that they have the authority to question that. However, if they present an open records request, we will work with the city clerk's office to find out what information we can give out and what we can't, and then sometimes that goes through the city attorney to find out if anything needs to be redacted. So we don't readily just give out information. You can call, ask for information. If you can't verify who it is, we'll automatically let you know. You need to start with the open records request. That's going to involve the city clerk and then the city attorney, and then from that, some of the information may be redacted. So.
Yeah, I'm curious. So if Bianca is running again, right, and she wants to distribute some information to me, can she come to the utility and ask for that address?
She can do an open records request, but again, we have to go through the city clerk's office, and then they let us know what they can give out and what can't be given out, and then they'll probably the city attorney as well, and they'll say, that can't be given, that can't be given. But some information, I guess, is public information, and that's for the city attorney and city clerk's office to determine.
Okay, and
Can I be clear that Bianca's not going to do that? Okay, great.
thank you. The other question is really more of a request. I think everybody in here has some confusion about how the bills are calculated. It would be great to get some sense of transparency. I don't know if you can make, moments with the director to kind of give guidance over how those bills are calculated, but it's very confusing.
We have a website. I apologize. We have a website, www.collegeparkga.com. Then you have the different departments in there. You can go on the electrical department and click on rates. It gives you how your rates are calculated, how the business rates are calculated, and it has a very detailed information with narratives on there. Same thing with water and sewer. Go to the water and sewer department, has rates, and it'll tell you what the water rates are and the sewer rates are, and with the different sections. So, and then if you have any questions beyond that, you always can come into the office. If it's, if it's something very, where it'll take some time, I'll try to set up an appointment so we can sit down, and I can show you on our different portals. We have an electrical portal where we can track your rates every 15 minutes, and then we have a water portal where we can track water usage every 6 hours. So we can go over there and I can show you some of the trends of how you're using the water and see if you can see anything out of the ordinary.
Okay. And last question, I swear, Eileen, you can have it next. Do we still do any energy audits? So if I want to understand where my house is perhaps leaky versus not, does the city provide any of that?
We have a tremendous individual. His name is Mr. Eric Spells. He works with the power department. He's the energy service provider. And if you will call, we can set up an appointment, and he will be more than happy to meet you. And he can talk through all those details, looking at the house, looking at the unit, and speak to you on those terms.
Okay, thank you.
You're so welcome. Mayor, I'm sorry for taking up so much time. Okay.
Well, I'm sure you'd rather answer Randy's question than this one. In years past, we had a tremendous amount of bad debt that was written off because people were not paying electricity bills. And that electricity, water, sewer, and that included some of the very large apartment complexes. Where are we now in that process?
We just finished an audit, and we're in the process of finishing an audit. So they can give you a tremendous amount of detail on that. As far as us and the inner workings, we work with the collection company. I don't know if you, well, hopefully you all haven't been involved. We've been very aggressive with the disconnects. We've tried to be preemptive with a lot of our commercial accounts to protect the citizens, requiring higher deposits coming in, especially if the company, they don't have a history with us or we're not familiar with the company. We've been aggressive with liens. We've been putting liens on properties to make sure if we don't get the money now, you ever sell that property, we want our money in the end. So we've been taking steps to try to be good stewards for the citizens of College Park to mitigate some of that bad debt. Right now, there's about $19.6 billion in unpaid utility debt as a nation. No. This, as a nation, I just came from a conference, and this was one of the major concerns. And we as an industry are doing everything we can to protect. A lot of that was pandemic laden. So, we're a business, but you cutting off electricity for a senior citizen, a disabled person. I'm not giving any names, people with heart conditions, things of that sort. There are several steps you have to take to balance that with being a business, but also not putting a person's life in jeopardy. So we're doing everything we can to balance that out. And the economic times right now, there are a lot of people struggling, but we're not in the business of giving away free utilities. Your taxes, we have to be good stewards of that. So trust me, that is a part of our vision, our mission when we come to work to make sure that we're good stewards of that. You're so welcome. Thank you so much. I'm sorry.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. No, you were great. You woke everybody up with that $19 billion number, didn't he? I nearly fell out of my chair. I was like, whew, all right, at least that's nationwide. But thank you again, Mr. Scott. He and his team do so much to make sure that the process that we deal with for paying our utilities is as seamless as possible. And I will second Mr. Walker's comments about just how easy it is to work with Mr. Scott. And so if you have any questions, concerns, comments, he's your guy. He's amazing, and we are very, very lucky to have him. And so I was going to say one more thing right about the free electricity part, is that the city pays for our electricity. So over $2.5 million a month. So we are responsible for paying that bill to the Municipal Electric Authority of Georgia, and then we sell the power to our customers. So we don't get it for free, and therefore we have to have that balance. And so I appreciate you and your team, and I appreciate everything that College Park Power does. We've got one of their members in the back, Mr. Glenn Spivey, who was kind enough to answer his phone a few minutes ago, right before this, when I had a question, when I realized that someone had asked about lights at Hawthorne Station, and I'll be able to answer that question coming up here in a few minutes. But I did want to take the opportunity to say hello to Councilwoman Helen Willis, who is here from the city of South Fulton. Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate it. We always want to work with our neighbors and love our neighbors in South Fulton, and thanks for everything that you do to make that partnership a good one. And always looking forward to seeing our friends in neighboring cities. So we are at the point where we're going to try this again with, we've got a couple of questions, and I want to set it up this way. One of the things that we've been talking about in the budget is an opportunity for community enhancement funds for each member of the council and myself. And so I've got an idea that I'm going to share with you. It's the first thing that I thought of that I would like to do. But I want to hear what your thoughts are in terms of how the community enhancement fund should be used. One of the things that has been a priority to me, and we've heard the word a lot tonight already, is transparency. And I think our friends in Brookhaven actually do a very good job on their page for their finance department of showing how they're spending money in real time. And it does a number of things. One, it increases trust in how we're spending your money. It cuts down on open records requests because, heck, you can just go to their website and type in a vendor or type in a month, and you can see exactly how those payments are getting made. I would love to see us have that kind of technology here in College Park. And so that is my primary idea for some of those community enhancement funds, but I want to hear from you. What do you see in the community that you would like to have change that we could do with community enhancement funds? So at this time, go ahead, scan that QR code. And I'm going to step around because I can't really see it very well. The angles are not great. Oh boy, so sorry. I won't talk. There we go. All right. And I'm not sure everybody can see it, so, all right, we've got recycling pickup. Honestly, I would like some walkable sidewalks to safely walk on. Sidewalks, sidewalks, sidewalks. And we need to expand it. Oh, sidewalks. Love the transparency initiative, yes. Additional police patrols on Lyle Avenue. Was that Sherry or Randy Godfrey? Sidewalks in a walkable community. Okay, I'm seeing a lot with sidewalks. Seeing a lot of sidewalks. I would love to see more community social events that bring our neighbors together. All right, so we're working through the technical stuff. This is the first time that we've tried this. Better lighting on streets. I would like to see it was discussed with residents, not just seemingly decided. Okay? Okay. And I've got some ideas around that as well. Water fight. I mean, we can just come to my house, we can fill some balloons and we can do a water fight. Landscapes improvements for Virginia Avenue and Main Street. Okay. Did everybody who wanted to participate get a chance to participate? Yeah, I'm hearing mumbles and... You can also join at Menti, MENTI.com. You can use the code 14378908. More oversight. Okay, all right. Money for regular litter pickup in high litter areas. It would be better if councilperson and mayor didn't have community funds. Currently feels like slush funds per ward when it should be citywide. Memorial Day wreaths on monuments. Okay. So I actually, it's my intent to talk to you more about this. And beautification of commercial areas outside of Main Street and Virginia Avenue, okay? And what I'd like to do sort of long term is to get your input on this as to how we should spend the money that's gonna be allocated to the mayor's spot. Because I do think it's important that you want that this money is spent with you, not on you or not for you. That this is something that we do together. So I told you my idea, and I really like my idea, but if you want sidewalks more than my idea, then so be it. Let's figure it out, and we can price it out and see if they can fit in what has been allocated for community enhancement. Let's see, anybody else? Looks like we got about 30 participants. And I'm glad this is working. I like this. I think if we scroll, let me make sure that we got it all there. I think trash cleanup, missed that one. Help bring business to Main Street. Expanded events. Juneteenth is from 10 to 5. Would like to see those expanded to outside of working hours. Many events are done during working hours. Good point. Good point. And Kelly, I think we can we share these when we're done? Can we put them on? Yep, all right. So we'll make sure to share these with everybody and see what the thoughts were. And if you want to keep participating, that is great too. But I think we got, I hear sidewalks a lot. I'm gonna talk and screech the thing. Hold on. Heard sidewalks loud and clear. I hear the sidewalks part. And thank you so much for that. I appreciate it because we're here to serve you. Want to hear what you have to say and how we move in this process. And so we're in the Q&A portion. And for those of you who have been to my town halls before, you know that I will stay as long as it takes to answer the questions. So we did get some earlier, and I will address those as we've gotten them. So what is going on at the old gas station renovation at Mercer and Main? The property has been turned back over to the owner. It was in the ownership of the Building and Industrial Development Authority for remediation purposes, because as you may know, there was a gas station and a dry cleaners on that site. And so now it has been returned back because the federal funds that were available for that remediation had to be done through the Development Authority and not the owner. And so a couple of meetings ago, that was turned back over to the owner, and they are working on getting folks at the location. So it's moving forward slowly, and a lot slower than what we would have hoped, but it is still moving forward. Question from the audience. I'll go back and forth. Anybody got any questions? Yes, sir. No, but you got to, for those watching at home, got to use the microphone.
What is being done by the city to respond to the backlog of open records requests, Part A? Part B, what's also being done, I believe we have a resident who's filed a lawsuit against the city for a backlog of open records requests, as I'm sure many of us have, and still no addressing how the city intends to handle that and pay for the cost of all these pending lawsuits, future lawsuits, things of that nature. So just want to know how it's working out.
So can't comment on pending litigation,
Right.
But I do know that our new city manager has been doing one-on-ones with every single department head, and that is an issue that is being addressed, and they're coming up with a game plan to try to address some of those open records backlogs. I know that there are a number of them. I have some of them myself, but I have faith that we are moving in the right direction on that, and actually getting a plan to not only address the backlog, but get caught up. I can't give you a timeline on it yet, but we're moving in the right direction. So let me take a second question that came in earlier. When can we get recycling pickup on the agenda? Hopefully soon. I think it's a really important discussion for us to have, and I know that at a previous town hall, we had some folks come in. That's something that we've been working on for years, and multiple folks in the community, including myself, Mayor Pro Tem, we've all been working on that. So I'm hoping that we can have a workshop discussion relatively soon. We've got a couple of things that we need to address, like at our next meeting, we got to handle the budget. That's going to be the big priority moving forward, because we've got to adopt that by June 30th. And I know that someone asked me about auditors and the audit itself. And at our last meeting, we had our auditors present. They said they are sort of at the pencils down point, but I've not gotten an actual printed audit yet, but we should have that by the next meeting, I would presume, because we're going to have to look at that information. So is it completed and signed off? Until I get that book, we're getting there on that one as well, because that's certainly been a concern of mine, and hopefully we will be on track to make sure that our audits moving forward will be on time, because that's a big thing in terms of both state and federal compliance. Let's see. Question from the audience. Yes, ma'am. Oh. Hi. Can you?
Good afternoon. My name is Janine Hubert. I'm in Ward 1. And I have a few questions I'd like to ask you.
Okay. Could you make sure you use the microphone?
Yes.
Thank you.
I tend to talk loud, so I'm trying to prevent from doing that. How do you plan to spend the $900,000 of community enhancement money in your, oh, I'm sorry, is that better? How do you plan on spending the $900,000 of community enhancement money in your 2025-26 budget?
I'm going to listen to everybody, and I'm hoping to do what's called participatory budgeting.
Mm-hmm.
And so to actually get people to vote on some priorities. And that was sort of the first step there, but I'll be continuing to solicit how people want to see that money spent, and then go from there.
So you're going to involve the community. That's great. One other question, and this I would like to know, because I've been over here. Well, I wasn't over here your full first term, only a year. And I'd just like to know, what is you most proud of, your accomplishment that you've done in the community? I mean, I can name some of them. Main Street definitely looks great, that is for sure.
What am I most proud of?
The park, I love the park.
God, I don't know that I want to put it down on one thing, honestly. I get up every morning, honestly, and think about, what do we do now? What is there to do? The work still continues. There are certainly things in the community that I look at and I think, oh, I'm glad that I was in this place to be able to say that, to have an input. One of those things is a relatively small thing, but I just love it. I spoke up about where the mural should go on Main Street. The initial plan was to put it on the auditorium. I think it gets more viewers and more eyeballs on Main Street and Lee Street. And I just love it as an entry into College Park. But at the same time, I also look at the Diamond College Park development right next to the Methodist Church. And I know that the effort that went into that, and the idea that we are creating opportunities for attainable housing in the community. We're doing that with the Blue Sky development that's going up on Old National Parkway, and the Summersby development that recently opened on West Fayetteville. So it's little things, it's big things. I was able to help somebody make sure that they got their Social Security full check a couple of weeks ago. That matters too. And that we were able to get them in contact with Senator Ossoff's office in this case. And they were able to do that work for them, as opposed to someone losing their housing, because and it was literally, that situation right there was one misspelled letter, and they thought it was a fraud situation. And because we were able to get them to Senator Ossoff's office and have that contact with Social Security, they were able to fix it in 2 weeks, as opposed to Lord knows how long. So it's the little things, it's the big things, but we've got so much work still to do. Like, I love the fact that we have an opportunity to support our infrastructure for the next generation through the municipal option sales tax. And if we're forward thinking that we can deal with the issues that we have in infrastructure and create a community that will be sustainable for the next 30, 40, 50, 60 years. So that's a loaded question, and I've given you a very long answer. And then sometimes it's just like, hi. Like, okay, you know what, one of the things I really love? Okay, and this is gonna be my last thing. And some of you may know this, some of you may not. But if you ever show up with a child in City Hall and I'm there, I'm probably gonna try to take your child, but just in the way to show them what it's like to be mayor. And so I want them to sit in the seat. I want them to see what it's like to run that meeting. I love being able to let kids think that this could be them. That I'm just a caretaker for this. It is not mine. And having kids say, well, I've never met a mayor before. I'm like, I don't think it's,
It's your everyday life. So
yeah, right, but I want kids to think that this is something they can do. And so I really love that opportunity to really impart upon them that this is attainable for them. So Let me get off my soapbox, because there's probably some other questions about like some in-depth
great.
things, but.
You give children things to aspire to, because when I was growing up, not only did we see female black mayors in Georgia, we really didn't have a lot of black mayors. So it is, we all can remember that time. But also, I wanted to ask you, which I noticed, and I think it's probably lax because of the high percentage of minorities in College Park, and it's something I'm very passionate about. I immediately noticed when I got over here, there's no kind of swimming classes given like at any of the rec centers. I noticed that, which was really shocking, because I've lived in several counties just investing in my job, moving me, and like Gwinnett counties, I realized College Park can't afford those type aquatic centers, but they put tons of money in their aquatic centers and teaching their children's water safety. And is there any kind of programs that you could implement? Because the kids over here don't know how to swim. I was desperate for a swimming pool when I first got here. I used to swim at Lifetime in Gwinnett County, and so I went to the rec center. Not only no one gives lessons at the rec center, the kids only actually have 2.5 hours a day, Monday through Friday, in the pool. Whereas in Gwinnett County, DeKalb County, and Clayton County, all of those kids get at least 8 hours a day in the swimming pool. And with this being a highly minority environment, and that is something that blacks are really getting into, I was wondering if it's possible that anything can be done about that, if it's possible to find money in the budget, with the $900,000 of the community enhancement money. How do you decide to earmark it? Do we have to vote on it?
Well, I'd like to, like I said, I'd like to engage a participatory budgeting process, which would engage the community in voting. And so I do believe for swim lessons, Conley Rec Center, I will double check on that and get back to you. Officer Wyatt? If there's a, hold on one second.
Currently, for the kids that are enrolled in the summer camp, there's an option for them to take swim lessons.
No one on the videos can hear you, but that's okay. That's all right. But I will add, can we add swim lessons on the community enhancement when we actually get people engaged about priorities? Because I think I agree with you that it is a huge issue. And wait, hold on. We can't. The folks on the video can't hear you. The folks on the video still can't hear you. Okay, all right. I'll repeat your question. I'll repeat your question, but then we're gonna. So what was the question? So the question is it possible to keep the pools open longer? It's my understanding they're open from 1 to 5 Monday through Saturday. Okay, so I'm hearing that 4 hours is not continuous and they have to sit out for a certain length of time. I don't know the details on that, but I will connect with our recreation director and see what's possible. Absolutely. All right. Let me go back to the pre-submitted questions. Is there any plan to perform maintenance on city trees and sidewalks, particularly at Mercer and Reed and any other areas? That used to be across the street from where I lived. I know that city trees and sidewalks do not always mix. At one point they mix, and then there's a point where the trees start to win, and the sidewalks kind of just give way. So I don't know of any particular plans about that corner, but they were there today. Actually, you know what? I did know about that. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't know that, but it's great that they were there. But it is one of those things where I think, and I was actually having a conversation with the city manager about this yesterday, that there are ways in which we can employ technology to help us with some of those areas, whether it's roads. We're already doing that with a program called Violytics, so we are able to take objective data and figure out which roads need repair in terms of priority. I think Violytics will actually help us with sidewalks as well. And so we're getting there. We're starting on streets, but I think there's a lot of potential. This is one of those things with AI where like we can cover the entire city in a relatively short period of time and then work our way down the list. And I've said this to some of my colleagues, it's not necessarily going to be equitable amongst all our wards. But I think, to me, the priority is we get the worst stuff first and we keep on working no matter where it is in the city. Because all of you, for the most part, live here, right? We have people who come here every single day because their businesses are here. And those roads are heavily traveled by very heavy equipment. And some of those roads, like if you take West Point or Edison, some of those are in really, really rough shape. But we may not hear about them as much because someone doesn't live there. But in terms of trying to make sure that we are meeting the needs of all of our stakeholders and making sure their businesses flow really well, that's very important too, because we want them to stay in the community. We want them to be good tax-paying citizens. And because if we've got businesses that are paying those taxes, that alleviates the pressure off of our homeowners as well. So, question from the audience.
Hello, Mayor.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Mayor Pro Tem. You know me, Mayor Susan.
Yes, Susan Coleman. Hello.
I am. And one of my biggest, planning for me is huge because I'm a planner. My understanding that you only have one planner in the whole city of College Park. The question is, are you planning to add more planners to the budget? Because planning is extremely important in any city. Also, if you can give me an update on 6 West and our Main Street program.
All right. So are we planning to get another planner? More planners. Are we planning to have additional planners? I believe next year's budget, proposed budget, still has the one planner. That is, the full-time position is a new thing. Years ago, we had a full-time planner before most of us were on council, and we've used a contract planner for quite a while, I think over about a decade. Yeah. And so I'm sorry? Okay. So it's a relatively new thing for us to, Ms. Lyons, who is our planner, yeah, she came, I believe, earlier this year. So she's getting settled in the position, and actually had an opportunity to sit down with her earlier today and the city manager and just sort of get an understanding of a particular situation. And so I think that I agree with you. Planning is one of the most important things that we can do. We've got our comprehensive plan coming up. And I would encourage all of you, when the word goes out about the comprehensive plan, please come to the meetings, participate, because that should be essentially our city Bible. We should be moving in the direction of our comprehensive plan. The best communities that we've all had the opportunity to visit don't happen by chance. They don't happen by accident. They happen by plan. So if we have full community participation in our comprehensive plan, and then we, as elected officials, stick to it, and you, as our bosses, make us stick to it, we're all gonna be better off. So that was part one. 6 West, we're working with the residential portion right now. PMG has that contract, and hopefully they'll be breaking ground this fall on that. And you had one other question. Main Street program. Specifically, where's it? Wait.
How are we developing the Main Street program? I mean, is it coming along? Because that's very important to planning as well.
Absolutely.
Especially with historic preservation. So where are we with Main Street? Are we planning on anything different on Main Street? Are we? Who now? Oh, Mayor Pro Tem.
I mean, if you want to answer the question, go right ahead. But we need a microphone.
Okay, basically we have several things that we're working on with Main Street, and planning is one of those things. We do have an interim economic development director, Mr. Brian Hooker, who is working with several different development companies specifically on that. My goal with Main Street is I'm working with the business community for Main Street, okay? So really trying to get the buzz, showing the Main Street businesses that they have the support of their city, which is really, really important because word spreads. You know, you get a good story and that's followed by another good story. City manager and I have had several conversations. We're also concerned about the streetscape, the landscaping on Main Street. I want to get, we're supposed to be putting John Duke and I have talked several times about getting some more crepe myrtles, some more trees, more artwork. I did have in my community enhancement budget, but it didn't get done this year, was to get some more murals also. So we want to kind of make it pop, vibrant, where we've got the City Hall lawn, it has a name, it has an identity, and we're going to celebrate that. We also have the depot, which is one of my community enhancements in terms of capital outlay. We're restoring that depot, turning it into an event space, turning it into a visitor center, getting ready for the World Cup game. So I can talk on and on. That's why I said, call me.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I knew that because of the beauty of doing this live and streaming, our director of recreation and cultural arts sent me the flyer for swim classes. And the classes are available from 5 to 7 and 8 to 11. For several weeks. There's 3 sessions throughout the summer. So they are doing the swim lessons Monday through Thursday from 9 to 9:30, 9:30 to 10, and 10 to 10:30 for various blocks throughout the summer. From June 2nd through July 10th, there are several sessions. Yep. So, all right. We're good on the swim classes. Okay. I know there's other stuff in the. I'll stay here all night. It's fine. But I'm gonna go back and forth. There is a special election on June 17th for Public Service Commissioner. Should this election be more publicized, as it involves the Fulton County District, amongst others? Yes. Yes. Please go out and vote. Public Service Commission is really important to all of us. They set rates for utilities throughout Georgia. Georgia Power gets their rates from there, and even though we are part of the Municipal Electric Authority of Georgia, Georgia Power sets a lot of tones for a lot of things that we do. And so please make sure that you research your candidates, get out and vote for Public Service Commissioner. In the audience, you have the microphone. Yes, sir.
So, Chelsea Gardens.
Yes.
it seems like a wonderful opportunity for us to practice transparency. We obviously have all been touched by that, not nearly as much. Yeah, not nearly as much as those people who've been kicked out. But here's the question. When do we get lessons learned? When do we start to grow from that, right? You know, I honestly have a very sneaky suspicion that we're using our code enforcement in some very backwards ways, right? How do we get to 2,000 items backlogged? Who knows about those 2,000 items? How many of our other apartments have these outstanding issues that don't get passed along? You know, if I'm a renter in any of our major apartments, how can I know what I'm moving into, right? How can I trust what the city's stamp is on the side of these buildings? So long story short, I really want to know, how do we grow from here around that? How do we become more transparent? How do we help citizens with this?
Ooh, that's a great question. It's a great question. I think there's a lot of lessons learned with the situation. I will start with, I've been really impressed in the last 2.5 weeks with the way Ms. Miller has handled the situation. Immediately upon arriving, she's focused on the people and how to make sure that people were cared for and they were the center of her concern. And let me thank you again publicly for that, Ms. Miller, because I do think that you came at a time that the situation was very immediate. And you jumped in with both feet, and you and the entire team did some really excellent work to make sure that the folks that we knew who were in there were taken to safety. That didn't always mean you move into an apartment immediately. I was just texting with someone and they were supposed to move Friday and their apartment's not ready. But we sort of had that all hands on deck mentality, and I think that came from the leader. And so thank you again, Ms. Miller, for all that you did. How do we get here and what do we learn? I said it before, so I'm not scared to say it again. When we first had folks come to talk about the Chelsea Gardens situation at the council meeting, at the end of that meeting, I asked the city manager and the city attorney to get us a report later in the week, because I wanted a full understanding of it. The next day, the city manager made the determination to condemn the property. I think primarily, like, it's imperative that we keep all lines of communication open, that we have a transparent process in how we condemn properties. There shouldn't be any mystery behind that. And understand that I say these things as my experience in this situation. It's not everyone's experience in this situation. But I will say one of the things that Ms. Miller did when she came in is that she made sure that we were all abreast of everything that was going on, kind of hour by hour as the situation developed. Because especially towards the end of May, there were questions about individuals and making sure that they were in areas that were outside of Chelsea Gardens and making sure that they were cared for. So to me, we have to have a clear, transparent process for condemnation that makes sure that everyone, as an elected official and from our staff position, is in on it, that needs to be in on it. But I think we have to go further than We have to go further than turkeys and backpacks. Okay? We just have to. It's not enough to be in a space where we think we are doing something for folks with something that may not even last through the week. If as a community, if as a city, we are not stepping up to say, how do we get someone from point A to point B, whether it is the person who has a stall at the discount mall and wants a storefront, how do we help them elevate to get there? If someone has a storefront, how do we make sure from an economic development perspective that that person gets multiple storefronts or is able to franchise their amazing idea? Or if somebody needs a GED, or if they need workforce development, what are we doing as a government where we're uniquely situated to be able to do that work, to be able to support that person in their endeavors? I'm much more interested in making sure that we are equipping people with skills that will elevate them and their families. I think there's an absolute space for turkeys and backpacks. The need to eat and to learn and to make sure you have the equipment for that is essential. But we can't stop there. And our function as government gives us a lot of tools in the toolbox that I don't think that we always use. And I think that we could have worked better to make sure that the residents of Chelsea Gardens just overall had more opportunity by being in College Park than they actually faced in real life. Does that make sense? Okay.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing well. So
I
on the
continue to
outside
live the dream every day.
On the outside looking in, it appears in recent meetings there's more discussion. I've even seen you vote recently, which is crazy. Have we turned a corner? Like, what's your feeling right now going towards the end of the year, going into the new year, and what opportunities still lie ahead where you think what the residents might, in our lofty mind, think of the mayor's participation in government would be, and your actual participation in government might be looking forward?
I will say that I'm heartened by where things are now because it's an opportunity for us to help make policy better through active engagement. I think you saw that at the last meeting in regard to the issue with our liquor stores. I think that was a very healthy discussion, and it ended up in a place where we were able to preserve the people who are doing business in College Park, but also not opening the doors to additional liquor stores, which was not really what anybody wanted. The idea was we make sure that the folks who are here, who are complying with our laws and are paying their taxes and such, are able to do so without interference. And I think that conversation was able to happen because I was able to put the ordinance on the agenda for discussion in the first place. So I'm hopeful we can move forward in that direction. I think that's probably what the community wants to see. And I think when we have the opportunity to have a myriad of voices heard, we get to better decision making. All right. What's the status of the city senior tax exemption? It will be on the ballot in the fall. So that would take effect in the next year, in 2026, if it was approved. Yes, ma'am?
recently, with all the heavy rains that we've had, the street water runoff behind my house is backed up. And I've called the city and called the city and called the city and was transferred to another person that their voicemail was full, transferred, and it just went on and on for 2 days. Finally, I drove around and found where the blockage was, went straight up to City Hall, reported it, and I'm not going to say they didn't do anything because I didn't see it, but there's still backup water, and I pay a lot of money for mosquito service, and I can hardly walk outside right now without just swarmed with mosquitoes. It's really bad. So how can, I guess the two-part question, who's responsible for that? And Grace, cover your ears. The trash that was backed up. I mean, I had to look so hard. I even called my councilwoman. I thought there was a dead body floating out there because there were so many clothes and tires and cartons and just trash. I don't know who's responsible for that. And the kudzu back there.
She's sitting in the back. Yep, she's raising her hand right now. Yep,
Oh.
that's right.
Yes,
Yes,
you were
Ms. Miller.
new when you were just appointed when you were exactly 2 minutes old when this happened. Contact
hold on,
you?
Hold on. Yep. If you want to talk to Ms. Miller, either afterward or if you wanted to respond and say, no, okay.
I didn't need the mic.
You can just see me. Okay, just see Ms. Miller. All right. You don't have the mic anymore. No, I'm just kidding.
When is the city website going to be updated? Because currently when you go on there and you're looking for a certain person, all you have is like the email button to click on, but it doesn't even give you their email address, nor does it give you a phone number. So if we could get a directory, I would just be happy with that.
And so there are two. Ms. Miller's raising her hand again. Do you want the microphone on that one? Or wait, hold on. I think you are.
Yes, you can see me. We are in the middle of launching a new website. I'm very excited about that. I do realize that the current website has some challenges. Yeah, being honest. The new website will be a little bit more friendlier, and you would be able to click on something, and it is what it actually said it is. Yeah. So you can expect that. However, I will be here to speak with anyone after as well.
Thank you. What are the office hours for each councilman working at City Hall office physically? I do not know the hours of my colleagues. We have, some of us have full-time jobs, and some of us are retired, and I have one-on-one times every month. You can go to mayorbianca.com and schedule a one-on-one, and happy to sit down with you or Zoom with you, and we can talk about whatever you'd like. So if that doesn't work, though, feel free to reach out to me or my legislative aide, Kelly Ramsey, and we will find another time for you. But I do have those standing times available. Anyone in the audience? Hello.
Hello, Mayor. So I don't know if you remember, but months back, there was this beautiful husband and wife duo that came to the council meeting that was opening up a vape shop, Old National.
Yes.
Council voted it down. Council also said in that meeting that they were not allowing any more vape shops. However, on Virginia Avenue, there's a brand new one, and the owner told me he's been open about 3 weeks, and I just went there, I think it was Friday or Thursday of last week. So can you elaborate more on how that business got there, and what are we doing to keep it fair across the board for everyone?
Excellent question. Not that I can answer off the top of my head, so I'd have to do a little research on that. But I'll get back to you. Promise I'll get back to you. All right, I'll go to, let's see. Short of receiving a citation, how are new residents, homeowners, or investors informed of the most common and visible residential code violations? For example, grass, cars parked on grass, number of cars in the driveway, lawn signs, etc. Does code enforcement have weekend hours? So typically, code enforcement will give you an opportunity with a warning before there is a citation to allow you to cure the issue at hand before a citation is actually issued. And so code enforcement has had weekend hours in the past. The structure of it right now, I don't believe that they are having weekend hours, and I don't, yeah, no, okay. But they have had weekend hours in the past. All right. Questions? Yes.
Hello.
Hi.
So my question is two things. The roads over here by Barrett Park and Rugby and Harris, they're really bad. And they'll repair it, and then like a week later, it's bad again. So that's the question, like what are we doing to help with the roadways? And then the next question is, I was walking the track in Barrett Park, and I noticed like the water, because it's been raining a lot, but the water seems to never drain on one part of the track, and I just think that's going to ruin it after time if it doesn't get fixed.
These both sound like public works issues, and thank you very much for bringing them to our attention. Now, I am not an expert in public works. Do not proclaim, let's be very, very clear about that. But one, I do know that Ms. Miller is actively searching for a director of public works. It is one of her main priorities, and I think it is really important because public works impacts so much of how we interact with the city, from sanitation to water to the list goes on and on. But highways and streets. They've got to be very careful about when they put that, when they're patching things, the temperature and the weather, just in general. So we could be in a situation where the weather doesn't hold, or someone hits that spot early and basically undoes the work of folks who have worked really hard to make things smooth. But specifically, I would encourage you to chat with Ms. Miller about specific areas. And as far as the park is concerned, I know that when we were having a conversation on Friday, I think was Ms. Miller and I were talking about her concern about how we basically need to catch those little things before they become the big things. That you're seeing that water, that standing water, could create a much bigger issue if we're not addressing drainage properly. And so she's in the back and she's writing stuff down. And so I know that'll be on her agenda to make sure that we address that. Yes, ma'am. All right. Why was the College Park specific code red discontinued? My Falcon alerts have been limited to weather emergencies only. No cooling or heating center notifications, nor any other relevant College Park alerts or notifications. Code red seemed better suited to be customized to inform residents of both emergencies and temporary disruptions. Though I was told code red could not be used for ward-specific communication purposes, that should not matter because an issue in one ward or anywhere in the city could potentially be problematic for any resident. Okay, so the Fulton County runs the Falcon system, and so we've basically taken a subset of that for College Park, and essentially we didn't want two different notification systems going on. Falcon is a little bit more adaptable than Code Red was, and so it's just a better system overall in terms of notification. You've gotten a lot of Fulton County alerts because I'm on the Falcon site, and if you are not on Falcon, you can sign up through our website, collegeparkga.com, for weather alerts and the like. But we have the ability to communicate on Falcon city-specific alerts. But we've, for the most part, thus far had Fulton County doing that and letting us know about weather alerts. But it's absolutely something that we can do and take a look at to make sure that we're getting out city-specific information like warming and cooling stations and the like. In the audience, yes, ma'am.
I wanted to thank you and Councilwoman Mayor Pro Tem McKenzie for the charter review process that's coming together. I think that's very exciting, and thank you for putting a alert on Ward 1 for people to actually be able to apply to it. I was wondering if in that discussion, because I know it's, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe each council person is selecting 2 people. Was there any discussion to have an additional 2 just random lottery from people being interested? There's a little lack of trust on some voluntold positions when it is all just council selections. And I think that this charter review is a huge opportunity to regain and build trust in the community. So I was just wondering if that was considered, and if it's not considered, is it something that could still be?
Short answer is no, we didn't have any discussions about that particular issue. Could it be considered? Anything could be considered. I would be concerned about it getting a little too big, though, because we've got 2 members for each elected official, and then we've also got a representative from the Fulton County delegation and our Clayton County delegation. Okay. So then it's
You're already at 12 angry men.
Yeah, yeah. And so I'd be concerned that the group would lose the ability to sharply do the work if we got it much beyond 12.
And so what is the updated timeline on that too?
The Charter Commission has to meet per the ordinance within 30 days of it passing. So I believe my colleagues will have their nominees at the next meeting, and the first meeting should happen shortly thereafter because we're on a timeline.
And so there is a timeline for the final review to be adopted is by the end of the year, or?
I believe the timeline is, yeah, there is a timeline in there. I just can't recall what it is right now. Okay. But yes, there's an end, there's a start and an end to the work.
Strategic plan.
Yeah.
Great, thanks.
Yes. Is there anything that can be done about the traffic lights constantly going out on Camp Creek? I got this question in multiple, people were texting me this question multiple times. I know that Councilmember Karn was talking with GDOT about this particular issue, and I know he brought it up at the last meeting. So it's a work in progress, and we're aware of it, but we do not have lights. So that is a challenge, but we've got to work with our partners on the state level to get those lights going. And I know that it makes it a lot harder to get over to Camp Creek Marketplace because I've been stuck with those flashing lights. So it's something that's impacting us all. Ooh, all right, oh no, okay, I should have said going once, going twice. Go ahead.
This goes back to the sinkhole problems. I think there's a sinkhole at the entrance of Hawthorne Station at Herschel.
I wasn't answering that question quickly enough. I just checked my text messages. Okay.
Because we've been thinking about all the steel plates that are lining the city. We're becoming the city of steel plates. What's the plan to address that problem? All around us seems like there's improvement with infrastructure and traffic flow in East Point, and that is great that they are doing that. And we think it'd be wonderful if we would do that as well and have fewer plates and more pavement.
Look, I feel your pain. There was a plate in front of my house, and they took the plate in front of my house because they needed it somewhere else. I still had the hole. But then they came and filled the hole. And don't get me wrong, I have never met overall, a harder working group of folks than the employees of the city of College Park, and our public works team is phenomenal. They get up at all hours of the night and handle it. I mean, when they were taking that plate away from my house, it was 2 o'clock in the morning because there was another issue down elsewhere. We have been in a space overall, and this is something else that Ms. Miller and I have been talking about, is we've been handling the issues right in front of our face, and we haven't been as proactive as we should be. As Ms. Coleman said earlier, planning is essential. So we know, we have an idea of some of the problem spots in the city, but we've got immediate needs that kind of pop up, and then we're not able to have sort of a longer range plan about how we're going to address some of our key infrastructure issues. So I'm looking forward to having a director of public works who can really tackle that, because it's certainly important that we meet those immediate needs, but we should be able to show you a plan. We should be able to come up here with any department and say, here's our plan, here's our short, mid, long range plan about how we're going to deliver services to you better. We're not there yet, but I believe Ms. Miller can take us there. All right, the much appreciated lights that were added to Tahoe Avenue and Hawthorne Station seem very dim and do not produce much light at all. Do you know why that is? The answer is a short no, I didn't know, but Glenn Spivey from our power department knew, and I called him before the meeting. And Glenn told me that it is because those are solar lights and they are temporary. So as electricity is run through the subdivision, those lights will be replaced with permanent lighting that will be brighter. Got it, Glenn? Yep, okay, good. I listen well. Any other questions in the room? Yes,
I
ma'am.
do, one more. Right over where the 6 West area is starting, there's like the paving, the roads are done, and there's a roundabout.
Yes.
But it's closed.
Yes.
Just why and when is it gonna open?
Well, we don't have any, I mean, the roundabout's beautiful. I walk my dog over there sometimes because he's young and it gives him some space because he needs some space. He's not really ready for close quarters yet. But at this point, we don't really want a ton of folks driving through there because honestly, like when I've seen people driving through there or seen the remnants of people driving through there, they have not been particularly responsible. And so once we've got residential development up near the Brady Center, you'll see that road open. But take a walk through there though, it's lovely. And let's see, let me check. Okay. Given the changes made from our current presidential administration, are there any reductions in funding for services that support underprivileged people and underserved families? Well, one of the things that I love about this job is that it is nonpartisan. So now while we have to live with the decisions that get made on higher levels, I don't have to get into party politics. Like, people just want services. Potholes don't have a party, which is awesome. Because if we can just fill them, people get happy. But obviously, some of the things that happen in Washington impact the way that we do business here. And one of the programs that you heard about, LIHEAP, is one of those that has been up for discussion in terms of perhaps being cut or reduced. There's a lot in flux in Washington right now, and I think you heard it from Congresswoman Williams, District Chief of Staff, that your voice matters. It really, really does. So for the things that are important to you, that are important to this community, reach out. Reach out to our representatives. Let them know that they're a priority for you, because they're hearing from folks who may not actually be in the district, but let them know what matters. It really makes a difference. Let's see. Make sure that my watch has been buzzing, and I'm thinking that, all right, let me make sure that I'm not missing anybody's questions. Kelly, there's more questions that came in? All right, will you come on up and we'll answer them. 5 more. Awesome. And I'm gonna make sure that we have like hot chocolate and cookies for the sleepover. All righty. Do you mind asking the question about erroneous billing on our utility bills? We've had neighbors to have their power shut off due to non-payment where they did not have a past due balance. Several have had payments not reflected in their accounts as well. So we did talk about that a little bit in terms of if you're looking at your bill, sometimes there will be a misapplication to an account. And Mr. Curry is telling me I have to go right-handed because my watch is ringing. Thank you, and that's interference. I'm sorry, sir. So the best advice I can give is to give customer service a call. They are willing to work with you, and they are all humans. And sometimes humans make mistakes. But I have found that when we've had interaction, when I was not in elected office and I had to deal with customer service, it was a pleasant experience. We were able to get through the issue and move forward. And so I would just encourage everyone, reach out. We've got great people in customer service, and they work really hard to make sure that the experience is a good one, but we all make mistakes from time to time. Can they please implement a new system and possibly a new bank account to reconcile resident transactions? I think I'm interested to see, I'm assuming this is in regard to electric payments. And so I'm interested to see what the audit has to say about that and suggestions from the auditors in that regard. Okay, these are all. To my understanding of their audits, all these transactions occur in the same big account as other funds. We do have generally one account, but there are earmarks within that account. I'm not sure that it's not actually a question, but yeah. Concerning the bridge over Camp Creek, where does it connect to? When will it be open? We're doing a dedication ceremony next Tuesday at 6 p.m. You're invited. Come on. Congressman David Scott will be there because the bridge is being named after him and because he was a huge factor in us getting the federal support to make it happen. And so it connects the GICC campus to what will be the 6 West development. So it'll be open after next Tuesday. And what can be done about the cars parking on the shoulder of the I-85 southbound Camp Creek exit? On some days, there are over 20 cars parked on the shoulder. I am not familiar with this issue, but Officer Porch is nodding her head. And is there anything that can be done about that, Officer Porch? Officer Porch says, of course. Officer Porch says, we'll get it taken care of. She does not have a microphone, but she said she'll get it taken care of. And if Officer Porch says that she'll get something taken care of, Officer Porch will get it taken care of. We can trust and believe that.
I know, I've seen them, but let me say something. When I come to work, it's like 8:30, 9 o'clock. No, I'm not going to talk with this mic up to my mouth, young man. But I do try to get here, and when I do see it, I do make an effort to move them along. What they're doing is waiting for family members that's coming in. They're actually waiting for their planes to land. That's basically it. But it's on the College Park side, not the City of Atlanta side. So we are trying to get it cleared up. But because we have officers on north and south, and unless there's like an accident or something going on the highway that direction, we pretty much don't see it. So if someone call in and tell us it's there, we will go out and check on it. But I have made contact with several people, and they have said that they are waiting for somebody to come in on the plane. That's what it's been about. I don't know how long they've been doing it. Yes, ma'am.
So the suggestion was, can we get a sign basically directing people to the cell phone waiting lot?
That's on the mayor.
Oh, it's on me?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, boy. Okay, all right.
She's gonna make it happen.
Officer Porch, you said you were gonna handle it.
I will, I promise you. Tomorrow when I get here, I will make an effort to try to get it cleared up. I know once you do it one time, if you keep it going, they do find another area to hang in, because they were at one time hanging over there at GICC.
GICC,
Yeah, they were hanging over there. We increased the patrol over there, so they moved, and I guess that's the new location. Yes.
All right, Mr. Tack.
I'd like to suggest that as the residents of College Park realize that it's the 7th level of hell at the airport, especially the College Park part of it. The incoming cars into departures, and to a lesser degree downstairs at where you pick people up. There is no place to go. You get harassed every minute that you wait for somebody in the interest of fair play. And they've destroyed all the places where you can go and hang out, waiting, trying to mind your own business and stay out of the way. And College Park ought to increase we ought to leave all those people on the side of the highway alone. Have you been to the airport to pick up anybody lately? It's the worst thing in the world.
There's a lot of construction going on.
Be careful what you wish for.
There's 6 in one, half dozen in the other. All right, going once, going twice. Any other questions in the room? All right. Well, you know what, everybody? I certainly appreciate you being here, whether it's in person or virtual. And just continue to thank you for your support, and keep us accountable, keep us honest, and we will most definitely have another town hall before the end of the summer. We'll get back to you about honing in on some of those participatory budgeting priorities, but thank you again. Have a great night.